Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Happy Friday, June the 5th. Every day is just another day closer to my birthday, and it's always exciting, and it's always good to talk about something light like that. You know, Monday's program was quite heavy as we dealt with all that we dealt, and of course, this is a taped program here, so we can't really address what's going on in the world right now because we don't know what's going to unfold between Monday and Friday. But that's just one of the tough things about this. But people are watching this, or can be watching this live on Facebook Live, whether it's while we record it or later. So anyway, we're glad about that. You guys, we've got a Finding Freedom workshop coming up. And in your practices, what is, I know you love these questions out of nowhere. What are some of the most common things that people are needing a little bit of help of getting free from? What's troubling folk that just on their own, they're really having a hard time with it?
Something I see over and over, especially in families and in couples, is the need to correct one another versus being able to connect with each other.
Yeah.
And boy, it keeps us stuck. It keeps us in attack mode and in accusation mode. And I just love to use Mylett and Kay's Comfort Circle to break right on through that and get back to reconnecting.
Yeah. Really good. Jill, what are your thoughts? Anything?
Well, and I think just to piggyback on that, when you're too close to a situation, you don't see things clearly, right? And so you need some perspective, and you need, oftentimes another set of eyes and ears to help you in that. So I think that idea of, we get stuck, and so we need some perspective. So,
yes.
One of the things that my wife and I have been able to do in some of the counseling that we've gotten is to stop and try to see when a conflict comes up, what's really going on. Everything happens so quickly that you don't even know what happened. And why is that person upset, or why am I feeling this way? And so we're really able to stop and take it apart. And boy, that just changes everything. But here's my point. Whether you're in a relationship where you're in attack mode, and usually if I'm in attack mode, somebody's in a I've got a pack mode, and that's not good. So if you just keep doing that, why don't you come join us, and let's see if we could help you get free of that dynamic. And if maybe that's not the place to go. Maybe you need to come to the marriage intensive. But here's another thing. Is there one of these two things, and I just posted a video about this, regret and dread. So many people are so plagued by the regrets of their past. They're not even present to today because they're living in this regret. And then there are others that are just overwhelmed by dread of what the future holds. And either way, you can so miss the life that God has given us today. How can you be present with the person you love, whether it's family or the person you're married to, or just a friend? If there's regret of the past, dread of the future, you get lost in the middle. We'll help you with that. And that's something we're going to do June the 13th, Finding Freedom. Chris Williams and myself will do it then. Hope you'll join us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out about that. And then 1-800-NEW-LIFE also, if you need help for anything, workshop, a book, a Bible. Father's Day's coming up. Great, every man's Bible, great gift for Dad.
For for most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. We're going right to the phones. When I say we, I'm talking about Dr. Jill Hubbard. She is the author of a lot of great books. Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers is a really good one. Here's a Father's Day gift you can give. Get her book, Forgiving Our Fathers and Mothers, and give the gift of forgiveness to yourself, because that's really the only folks that it hurts, you know. So please call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE, and get that book if you need it. I think it could be a big help. All right, let's go to Linda. I am told that she is from Sacramento, California, and that she is actually a member of Club New Life, and for that we are extremely grateful. Linda, how you doing?
Hi, thank you for taking my calls. I'm doing well today. Well, not exactly, but
Okay.
I just recently got diagnosed with breast cancer. And my daughter died from cancer 8 years ago.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
So sorry.
And,
So sorry.
I know. And it just seems, you know, I know what James says about counting everything joy and asking the Lord for wisdom and not wavering. And I do that. And I just, sometimes I'll see other people, other Christians, you know, and the Lord will really guide their steps along the way. And I don't see it.
You don't see it. Well, Linda, sometimes along the way, the pain, sorrow, you could say that the trauma gets so great, you can't really see anything along the way. And you know, here's what would make your day. I can almost guarantee it. If I could tell you that in 4 months, 3 days, based on our calculations, you're going to be through all this and feel better. You know, if you knew there was an end in sight, you could go, okay, well, I can handle anything. But I think one of the most difficult things in life is when we have these things that pile upon the other, and we don't really know how hard it's going to be and how hard it's going to last. Let's see what Jill and Alice have to say. I want them to give you some hope and some truth and something that might help you have a better day today.
Okay.
Well, Linda, I think, too, sometimes what's even harder is when you have been through something previously, because there's no naivete to this for you. You've lived through cancer. You've watched your daughter suffer. And now you know the steps that you have to walk through. And sometimes that really causes, you know, it's that, again, Steve, that those waves of things that keep hitting us. You know, the first wave we survive, but after the 100th wave, you know, we can really get knocked down. And I hear so many people who say to me, why is it that I see so many people's lives and it seems like they're so blessed and here I am struggling so much? And the thing is that, right, that's hard and it feels terrible. And I know in those moments, one of the things that keeps us down is that we're judging kind of our lives and knowing all the details, and we're judging it against what we see just in the outside of other people's lives, right? And that, we know that tragedy and heartache, it's not doled out equally, right? But God does come and meet each of us where we're at. And that we know that we're not spared of heartache, but that we have him in the midst of it. And that isn't always, it doesn't always feel great when we're really struggling, but at the same time, where would we be without that? Right? With the Lord and I know you know that. And so part of it is knowing that he meets you where you're at, and you do need to voice these things, just like you're voicing to us today. This is hard, and you can't go this alone. And the hope is in the people that God brings into your life to walk beside you in this.
And, when you mentioned James, I mean, that same chapter, it says that those who persevere will receive the crown of life. And so I think if I read the spirit of James there, he's saying, there's something good that's going to come out of this. So maybe focus on that, but the main thing is do what you have to do to don't give up on God. Don't turn back, because if you can just get through it, that gets you the blessing of God, getting through it, even though it's just so very, very hard. Alice, you have a thought here?
Oh, Linda, this diagnosis is just overwhelming and so weighty. And I think I hear you holding back the tears that are just creeping into the edges of your voice there. And I wonder, what is your worst fear in facing your own diagnosis now?
That it's spread, and, that I'm not ready to pass away like my daughter did. And just watching what she went through and the pain, the absolute pain and horror of what my husband and I went through with my daughter. Just
let me say this
and
to
now
you,
I'm
Linda.
facing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Linda, all of us come to these places where we don't see things. We, like you were saying, I'm not seeing it. It's not there for me. And so, just like if you were on a dark mountain trail by yourself, you'd be lost. But if you had a guide, you'd have great confidence that you're going to get through it. Do you have anybody that's really taking your hand in your heart and walking through this, not just with you, but they're guiding you through it? That, it seems like to me, you're at a place where you need that. Now, is there anything like that?
Not personally, no.
So Linda, that is exactly what you need. It's somebody who you let in close enough to see those tears in your eyes. Somebody that you can admit that fear to every single day if you need it. Somebody who will be an empathic,
I have my husband,
listening ear.
Right, but he's also going through the trauma of this, the repeat trauma, right? So it's like you guys need other people that will daily, pray for you, that will be there to talk with you. You need, and so it may not just be one person, it may be a small, circle of people that you can go to, and that kind of, go ahead. You have.
Oh, no, I have my Bible study ladies. There's about 8 of us.
Okay. So please take your fear.
None of them have gone through that.
Right. So Linda, take your fear to them. They really will need to hear from you that the depths of what you're struggling with, so that they can love on you, so that they can come around you and protect you, support you, and lift you up on those difficult days. You and your husband, you both will need that support.
And ask them if they're willing to be in this with you.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, you said this so well to us. You said, I see other people and I see how they're handling things and what God seems to be doing. And I don't see it for me. Have you ever shared that in that group with those women?
Maybe a little bit with one person.
Okay, I think it might be really great if you went back to them next time you guys get together and say, okay, I shared with some strangers on a radio program something that I haven't fully shared with you, but I did it. So I'm coming back and I want to share with you what I'm going through. And it's this.
Okay.
And you just tell them exactly the way you shared it with us. And then you just say this.
Okay.
It's really hard for me to say this. I need your help. It just opens the door. And here's what you'll hear. You'll hear some superficial scripture quoted sometimes, whatever you get through that. But then I think you might find some wisdom expressed, some care, compassion that might just get you through. And what we're hoping for you, Linda, is just things being a little bit better, a little more manageable every day. And I'm so sorry for
or
what
that
you're
you
going
just
through.
feel held. You know, sometimes it's not the profound words that a person needs. It just, you need people to be with you when there are no words.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Well, let me just send you a couple of things. Got some devotionals that I want so that you can really focus on some great study. But have you read Take Your Life Back? I know you're part of Club New Life, but have you ever read that book?
I don't think so. Not that one.
Okay. Let me send this to you because there's some really great moves or strategies in there, such as when we take the time to grieve some things that need to be grieved. I'm going to send that to you, and I'll send you Healing as a Choice also, and I'm really grateful that you called. Let's pray for Linda. She's part of our family. She's part of the support of Club New Life that means so much to all of us, has helped so many people. And, none of us know what tomorrow brings. And I think about, if this COVID virus thing, and then it's depressing and it's anxiety producing. Now here's regular life. Here's cancer. Here's death and loss on top of that. It's tough. And don't beat yourself up for not being perfect or whatever. Just get through it and get the help that you need. And if we can help you, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. Let's go to Brenda, Billings, Montana. She listens to us online. Glad that she does. Hello there. How are you? And how can we help you today?
I'm fine. Just had a question.
Okay.
And I don't usually hear this on your... I do appreciate your program. I have listened to it for years, and I have supported it here and there because I sit here saying, well, Lord, what's your view on this? Do I support it? It's like, is this what you're saying?
Now, Brenda, you're really... It's hard for me to hear anything that you're saying. I don't know if you can get closer to your phone or... maybe if it's a speakerphone.
Is that better?
Well, of course it is. Yes, thank you.
Is that better? No. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Now ask the question or tell us what you were telling us.
Okay. Well, I just said I do listen to you, and I have supported you to some degree here. And I've this is a question that I don't hear too often.
Okay.
Because when it comes to pornography, not everybody is in that deep, but it's kind of a thing that can kind of drag it around with you because it's out of boredom.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been the case for many, many years, and for my husband. And the thing is I came into the relationship with a lot of abandonment issues and victim. And I can see it in my dad, so I know where it comes from. and legalism, because we were, there was a cult situation. So, he's gone through a lot. But I heard the Lord more and more as the years went by. So, but it kind of crops up every once in a while, and here we are again.
So what's the question for us?
The question is, now that he is a part of a prayer group and part of a, more open, do we just move on? Do we need to be really that connected? Because the counseling doesn't seem to be something he feels necessary. But so I'm just trying to decide, okay, Lord, you've got to change the heart, and we need to love each other through these things. So how much do you keep bringing something up?
Yeah.
I mean, do we just go on from here and say, okay, Lord, if it's a problem, you bring it up again, and we'll deal with it there. We're connected in some other ways now. And
Okay,
I just
hold
need to
on.
move on.
We'll help you right after.
Divorce shattered my family. I was very confused about my feelings, which are guilt, shame, and anger.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. I'm just wondering if you're feeling stuck and you're hiding behind a mask, or maybe you're ignoring some pain and you're just not wanting anybody to see the real you. Well, Chris Williams and I are going to be doing the Finding Freedom Workshop. It's a great place to discover how to live a life of freedom, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You'll learn how to overcome your painful past and recognize the habits and behaviors that can lead you to the life God intended. It's time to get free from the rut you're in and experience transformation in your life.
Join Steve Arterburn and Chris Williams for the New Life Finding Freedom online workshop Saturday, June 13th. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back and we're talking with Brenda, and the pornography issue just continues on to some degree or another. Now, I'm just going to turn this over to Dr. Jill and Dr. Alice, because here Brenda is a woman in a relationship with a man who has another relationship. So what are you thinking? Dr. Jill, what are you thinking?
Well, Brenda, I feel really sad as I'm listening to you, and I'm hearing all the issues, the things that you have been through. And, in the face of this husband that maybe minimizes this problem that keeps creeping in. And we do know that pornography causes great disconnect. And yet I'm hearing you with your issues almost feeling like you've brought too much burden to this relationship already. How can you really make a big deal about something that is as minor as he makes it to be?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm trying to decide, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do here? Because I don't have a problem doing that. But at the same time, he sees his heart, and I don't. And the thing is, I've heard the Lord over the years. He did go through a lot. I was a victim. I was a person that, so he learned to find a way to kind of box himself up, and life works. And he's a faithful person. He's a wisdom person. He's,
Brenda, I want to stop you, sister. I want to stop you because I think I hear you. No, sister, would you hear us out? As I think I hear you defending him and calling him faithful, but he's with pornography, even if it is a little and it's out of boredom and it's every here and there, that is as infidelity. That's being unfaithful to you and to the marriage. And I wonder if you have women around you who are speaking of your value and your worth and what you can ask for and expect in a marriage. Do you have women like that around you?
Yes, I have a prayer partner, and I do have women. In fact, I'm quite connected with the church, and so I really see God using this. In fact, there's people I think that are kind of aware, but and so that's what Lord's been bringing this up. And so as I'm seeking wisdom. Okay, where do you go here from here, Lord? Because according to, hey, boy, that's got to that's it. But
let me ask you, Brenda.
You do have to face the fact that the thing is, I was a pretty hard person to live with. Believe me, I was emotionally but it was partly because him, but it was also because of the past and
right.
Not having
so
a
Brenda,
firm foundation in the Word.
Right, and I'm glad that you're owning your part, but separate from all of that, he has a problem.
Yeah, and he's connected with a
but Brenda, he's minimizing the problem. The pornography use is a big problem, and we wonder what are you afraid will happen if you call that big problem what it is?
I'm not afraid. I just want to be sure before you really put somebody in that position. Yeah. I want to make sure, Lord, that you're in this, and I'm calling you for wisdom, and I will evaluate this here, because blessed is the man who has many counselors. I get you.
That's great. Brenda, a couple of things I want to say to you, okay? You ready? Mm-hmm. Here it goes.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that you called, because here's what I believe. I believe when you ask God to show you things and to lead your path, I think he led you here. And I think he might have led you here to hear a couple of things. One is you said you don't know his heart. Do you know that I could, with about 90% confidence, maybe 95 even, tell you that I know my wife's heart? I know her motives. I know what hurts her. I know what makes her full of joy. And I think it's really sad that the pornography, probably more powerfully than anything I know, separates our hearts from each other in marriage. It just destroys the connection. And so that says to me, wow, there's some coming together that can't take place as long as this lingers on. And then the second thing I want to say, why wouldn't you just say to him, I don't know how severe the problem is. I don't know how severe the impact is on our relationship. But why wouldn't you do for this problem what you would do for our car? If our car was leaking oil, you wouldn't wait for all the oil to leak out. You'd go find out, what is it that we need to adjust? You'd get it taken care of. Why don't you take yourself into the repair shop? Go to that Every Man's Battle thing. It's online. Don't even have to travel. Why don't you fix this leaking part of our relationship that's hurting me? And you have to be honest with him. It really is hurting me. It's confusing me. And I don't even know where I stand with you, with God, with others, because I don't know if you're really telling me the truth about this. I don't know. Could you just go get it taken care of? Could you just go get it taken care of? That would be what I think God would want you to hear, the message he'd want you to hear. Because I do believe when guys come back from Every Man's Battle, I've talked to women. They say, I know this man. I know his heart. It's different. It's been transformed. We'll be back after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
I'm going to send Brenda a copy of Worthy of Her Trust. Jason Martinkus did such a great job on this. And, every time we do an Every Man's Battle, Jason and Larry Sonnenberger together. He goes to every one of these. And Jason's done a really good job on Larry, too. Not in the Every Man's Battle, but just growing and all of that. Larry, let's talk about how we get through the summer and still help people meet needs in a very difficult, strange world that we live in.
Well, we depend upon God supporting us and having His hand of favor on us, and He does that through people. And so we're depending upon you, our audience, to step up and fill the gap where we need some extra help. And during these really difficult, strange times, we need as much help, if not more than ever.
Yeah.
And we do have the matching gift. But, I was listening to the last caller, and there was a note that came in recently. You maybe have seen it, Steve. Because it's up regarding Every Man's Battle, I wanted to share it right now.
Okay.
And this is why we need your help, to get other people to experience this. On behalf of myself and my family, I want to say thank you so much. That's all underlined. Thank you so much for the privilege of attending the most recent Every Man's Battle conference on a scholarship. I'm a pastor. Genuine life change and hope for sustained victory. That was my takeaway. I cannot effectively convey in words how much you've blessed me. I do not know all that God has in store for us, but I can emphatically say that the future is so much brighter because of your incredibly generous and selfless investment. And this guy came to an in-person workshop where it's been several months. And I just love it when the impact is carried on and it's months later that they write us.
Well, right. And especially a pastor who now maybe steps up and does something at the church he would have never done because he was struggling with his own stuff.
But so I just can't encourage you folks enough. However you can give, whether it's a one-time gift or a joining Club New Life, maybe you can text to give. However you can give to us, just please take a step. Pull over right now if you're driving and call us. Just give us some help, because my experience is, and I know this from my own experience, if I think I'm going to do it later or one day I'll do this, that one day becomes maybe months or years. And so if you would just stop and make a gift to New Life right now, we would deeply appreciate it. The people who get the help will deeply appreciate it.
Absolutely. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, that is the number, and it is matched, and so everything you do, it's just twice as powerful,
And
more effective than ever.
The text to give is 28950. Just text that number and type in match, and you can give.
Do they have to type in NLM match
They
or
don't.
just match?
They
Just
can do
match.
they can do that, but they can also just type in match. We got that changed.
It takes
All
about
right.
3 minutes, folks.
The first
Okay.
time. And after that, it's much quicker.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We really do honor the support we get, and Larry is head of honoring that support, and he really does such a great job of investing, of managing the cost, and taking advantage of the opportunities that we have, and just a good steward. And I think that's why we're still doing what we're doing 31 years later. Let's go to Jane, Chattanooga, Tennessee. She listens on the podcast. Hello, Jane. Welcome to New Life. How can we help today?
Hi, thank you for taking my call. I have a daughter who's in her mid-30s, second marriage. She had been married the first time for approximately 7 years, but separated for approximately 5 of that. Then she was single for about 7 years. She read your book on Is This the One?
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of went through that process as she was dating, and met this man. They dated for approximately 2 years, and he struggles with depression, so does she. At the end of that approximate 2-year period, he just up and disappeared. For a while, she didn't even know where he was. And then she found out that he had moved 1,000 miles away to another state, and he reconnected with her. They dated again for about a year, and he said he couldn't live without her, and they married approximately a year ago.
Okay.
Now the marriage is really struggling. He has become verbally abusive. He will at times just shut himself off from her, either just gets in the car and leaves, which then she worries that he's doing the same thing that he did back when they were dating the first go-round. And when she tries to talk with him about that, she has been in therapy now for 3 or 4 years ongoing. I think she will probably continue for the rest of her life because it has benefited her so much. So she's got a really good therapist, and she has tried to convince him that they need to go to a different therapist together.
Okay, so she's got a therapist that has helped her a lot. What's your question for us?
How do I advise her at this point? She is on the verge of packing her things and moving back to her home area. She says, I can't live like this when he won't agree to go work on us, and he gets so verbally abusive with her that she just ends up in a puddle of tears.
Okay, so what's the question for us then?
Then how do I advise her? What should I tell her at this point? As a mama, I want to say, pack your bags and come home.
Right.
But I know that's maybe not the thing I need to say.
Well, I'll tell you what doesn't seem to be working is her getting some great therapy and everything staying the same. So let's see what Alice and Jill think would be helpful here.
Well, Jane, if she's on the verge of packing up, she needs to move that request to come to therapy up into a requirement that she needs his participation. And maybe it's not with the same therapist. Maybe her 3 years perhaps make him feel like it's too much of a setup. Maybe it's finding another therapist or coming to our...
Well, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. She does not want to go. She knows that would not work, and her therapist has told her that they need to go to a different therapist together. But even in that,
he doesn't want to do that.
Agree to go.
Yeah. So he's got a big problem. He's had it a long time, and he's not willing to do anything about it. So the question is, what's the best strategy that might produce an impact on a guy that's very difficult to impact in any way possible?
She may need to give him a timeline of I want us in the better version of us, but I can't stay in this version, and I'm not willing to tolerate this verbal abuse. So you've got a week to decide. Are you going to get help? Are you going to start going to meetings? Are we going to get marriage counseling? And if not, I've got to take steps to protect myself. And in this next week, I'm going to decide how extensive those steps need to be, because I'm not willing to be verbally beaten up like this anymore.
Well, and I wonder too if her, and perhaps she's tried all different kinds of approaches, but asking him if he isn't tired. If he isn't tired of the dance they've been doing, of this pattern. And in his depression, what makes it worth holding on to versus doing something different? What is so scary or frightening about doing something different versus holding on to this pattern? You know, this pattern is known. It's what he's done. And in it, you know, we know that he lies to himself, right? You know, we all tell ourselves we're going to get better even when we do nothing. But he's having a hard time moving forward. And a lot of times fear is the thing that gets in the way. Fear of exposure, fear that people will see that he's not enough, fear that all of the lies of his depression tells him. And so sometimes if she could have a little bit of empathy, and it's really hard to do when someone's abusive, but naming what is underneath that abusiveness.
And if she can bring a male family member that may have some influence over him, that they have a relationship, the Bible tells us to bring along a witness who can raise that level of urgency of the conversation while doing it with love and care for him. Maybe her voice is not enough, but another family member could help get the message to him.
Right. Well, family members are out of the picture on his side of the family completely. He actually has a history of suicide within his family, which also scares her.
Well, Jane, you know, I have to tell you, just listening to this and her and you, I think the one thing, just departing, he might see that as a gift if she just packed up and left. I do think there's something to be said for a legal separation that becomes very official and puts a burden on him. It's not, when you file legally for separation and your hope is he's going to wake up and get some help here, but when you do that, then nobody can accuse you of just up and doing something emotional or irrational or something. You've thought this through, and she's going to protect herself financially, and I just think that plus leaving could be the thing. It's either going to show her who he is or bring him back in the relationship.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, June 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and I'm going to send Jane a copy of that Restoration Bible. You know, she said her daughter read the book, Is This the One? Maybe I should write, Is It Time to Run? Because if you don't get the right one, we hate divorce, and we don't ever encourage legal separation so a divorce will occur. But when you're in a thing like this, and there's this kind of verbal abuse and all emotional abuse, then we need to do something that maybe could wake the other person up and see that I'm not just a non-entity here. That's what we're going for, just in case you haven't heard us on many previous programs. We love seeing people get better, but you got to have both people working on it. Let's go to Lillian, Humble, Texas. KKHT is the station. Hi, Lillian. Welcome to New Life. How can we help today?
Thank you so very much, and thank you for your program. I received such great information.
Mm-hmm.
I have a son that's 41, has terminal brain cancer. Mm-hmm. He's a narcissist. He comes to my house, and he says to me, I'm divorced, 11 years, married. He was a narcissist, too, a malignant narcissist, and lots of abuse. And my son says to me, you deserved everything you got because you're the one that made the decision. But he says about his dad, he didn't know any better. He was raised in that kind of environment. Mine was worse than his, though. I didn't
Lillian?
choose to go that way. Yes.
Lillian.
Yes.
Just because he's your son doesn't mean that he should be incapable of saying some of the most uncaring, hurtful, and stupid thing that any human being would say to any human being. The only reason you give him any benefit of the doubt, rather than just saying, man, that's a horrible thing for anybody to say, is he's your son. Look, if we all had what we deserved, we couldn't even live with ourselves. And you did the best that you could with a narcissist who was a sick man to be a partner with in raising a boy. And look what happened.
3 boys.
3 boys.
Wow.
Look at this kid.
Well,
and
Lillian,
I just feel bad
and
for
a daughter that's already committed suicide.
Oh my gosh, Lillian.
So
Wow.
Lillian, you made a decision to marry him. You did the best that you could, not having a partner once you discovered what was there. And it's really sad that your son has terminal brain cancer, and maybe that causes him not to think correctly or know what to say or whatever.
Well,
but
Steve, I mean, we know that narcissists tend to project, and I'm wondering if he's projecting onto you really his own feelings. Here he has terminal brain cancer. I'm wondering if he's really the one deep down that he feels that he deserves what he's getting. Sometimes that's not conscious, and we spew out our pain onto others. And certainly we know as moms are the targets of our children's pain no matter what age.
Okay.
So
see, if he excuses his dad's behavior, then I think he's excusing his because he's a narcissist as well.
yes, but now, so was there something you wanted from us when you called? Is there something that we're not saying or addressing here? Because you're saying some stuff that we agree with. Yes, he's same as his dad, and but is there something else that we're missing here? Because we want to help you.
Well, yesterday I responded to him to stay away from me. I didn't want him coming back to my house. I feel like I've been a whipping post. I was born in it. I married someone for 35 years, and now my son is taking up where his dad left off.
Lillian,
and it's been 11 years.
You know what that's called? That's called setting a boundary for yourself. And I applaud you for saying that, and not, out of sympathy or whatever, thinking I got to let this kid come around and beat me up emotionally no matter what. I don't think that honors God one bit.
But I think there are two aspects to add to the boundary, Lillian, if you haven't done this already. One is to set the standard. So it may be you've decided your son is not safe and never will be safe, and so it is never return to my house. But you might want to have the standard of, if you're willing to speak with me respectfully and kindly, then I would welcome you back to my house. But until then, this is my standard. This is what I will accept. And the other area is that because we are all imperfect mothers who have fallen short of the mark, to be able to acknowledge our part in it. Maybe it's, I tolerated your father's abuse and you kids were hurt because of it. So I do have a role to play in the pain that you have suffered. And if you'll be respectful to me, I'm willing to hear about that pain, because I hear your anger at me. You think I deserved the abuse. I want to hear what's behind that anger, as long as you can be respectful in telling me about it. And maybe that can't happen without a third person in the room who would be a guide and a monitor to the conversation. But consider those.
Yep. And let me send you this book, Understanding and Loving a Person with Narcissistic Personality Disorder. I think it'll help you. I think it'll help you understand and give yourself even more of a break. What a sad thing when people are cruel to other people. So I'm glad that you called. Well, we're just about out of time here. And either you guys have anything you want to share before we close out the program?
Well, excuse me, Steve, I was just thinking about a conversation my son and I had. We have been in the midst of college decisions, and with COVID, this week has been the final decisions, and we've been going round and round. And he said, Mom, I remember when I was younger and I was in the swimming pool and I had this ring on and I really liked this ring, and the ring fell off my finger and I was frantic and I was swimming around and splashing and trying to find this ring at the bottom of the pool. And he said, and then I realized I'm not going to find it. So he got out of the pool and he waited and he let the waters calm down. And he said, as soon as I did that, I saw the ring and I dove right for it. And so that just helped us, number one, take a step back. And it's so often what we need to do when we get too close to things and so much is stirred up. We need to take a step back and we need to gain perspective and let God show us what we need to do.
Great analogy. I love that.
I know, it was brilliant. I'm like, okay. He's like, now I'm going to sleep and let the water settle. I'm like, great.
Attaboy, Mac.
Well, we can get so caught up in things that we need to step back or get out of it and take a second look. We were at this big water park, and my wife lost her sunglasses in the lazy river, which was anything but lazy.
Yeah.
And I realized I wasn't going to find those glasses right where we were standing. And I went all over that place because the current was so strong. And when I found them, I became a hero that day. If I had just stood there going, well, I hope we can find them somehow, not anything good was going to happen. And if Mac had stayed in that pool, swishing around, sometimes, God has a way of leading us to the answer, but you're the one that has to get out of where you are and what you're doing and search for something better. And we can help you do that if you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love it if you'd join Chris Williams and myself June 13 for Finding Freedom. Or maybe it's Every Man's Battle on the 20th of June. Maybe you come join us for the Marriage Intensive. That's going to be incredible. We love you. Thank you, Dr. Jill Hubbard, Dr. Alice Benton, all of you who support us. God bless you. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.